Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tactical Debrief. It's been a while since we've done these. My name is, of course, Joshua Joshi Howard, and I'm joined here today by Lucas Sterne, coming off of a win at the Heroes at the mid-table. Lucas, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself, boss?
I'm doing all right. I think this is going to be an interesting one, Lucas, because this is the first time that I'm going to be interviewing someone whose list I have actually played.
Yes.
Yeah, I did a little bit of looking at the list that you were going through and fiddling around with it. I like to do a lot of limit testing, a lot of screwing around so I can find out what does and doesn't work. So I'll have a little bit of chance to talk about that. But Lucas, I want to talk to you originally because I've seen your name pop up a couple of times before at GTs where I've seen you go 4-1 multiple times before, oftentimes at this mid-table event in the past. But this is your first actual win. Do you feel like you did anything different in order to actually take this one down?
No, I didn't really do anything much different. Most of the time, it was dice. I've had 11-inch charge, 12-inch charge on me. I'm like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've been training so much. I've had to really thank two players out there. JT McDowell from Play on Tabletops. He helped me lots. He helped me do a lot of training.
Hmm.
And the other player I got to thank is John Winter. He's an amazing guard player. He's part of the Team Canada. I've been talking to him. He's been showing me so much stuff. It's been phenomenal. I can't appreciate their help more than that.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of players that helped me with this, and it showed it off.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know John Winter. We've had him on this channel before. He's part of the Discord as well. So, if you guys also want that, go ahead and find your way to join in the Discord as well, and we can get you guys in touch. But that's super cool to hear. That said, you were running something very different than I'm used to seeing John Winter run. Firstly, there's no horses in your list, so that's different. But what there is, Lucas, is there's three Hydras, and this is a unit that I don't think I've seen taken in any list that's done well since the World Championships of Warhammer. What drew you to them, and why are there three of them?
So what it was I had two. The third one is I had 95 points left, 100 points. So I just threw it in. I was like,
Fair.
well, what's worse? Uh, what actually drew the Hydras was Death Guard and all its drones. I didn't have a true answer, and I just, hey, they all have fly. Anti-fly 2 up. Let's see how it does.
Hmm.
Then with Magnus still being a problem, it's like, okay, and demons.
Hmm.
All these flying targets out there. I was like, let's see how it goes. I test played it about 25 times before this team event,
Wow.
this match here. So I was like, oh, okay. So I have the rhythm already.
Yeah.
Like, so I couldn't complain. And what was it? The hardest match I had in my games there was Custodes, just because of the 4-up Feel No Pain and 4-up Bomb.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm really curious then, actually, to talk more about the Hydras, because you said that they're pretty good into targets that have fly. I felt that a little bit myself playing into the bloat drones yesterday. You very consistently get 4 hits and 4 wounds with autocannons, which is pretty cool. But I'm a little bit curious, what is it like into, or what has been your experience into non-ideal targets, into shooting at things that are not fly?
So my very first match was World Eaters, and he had two Forge Fence. And what I did was I actually threw a Hydra out there, and he went after it. Then I had the two Hydras shooting at his other two targets, and I just looked at them regular autocannons. At that point, okay, if I get a couple bullets in, I get a couple bullets in. And the thing is, they're damage 3, so while one goes through, it's like, oh, I don't want that again. So they start backing up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, if you just have enough shells going down range, something is absolutely going to go through. That's super cool. Yeah.
yeah. Like, uh, like I'm looking at my list, and it's like what it was is I always strat reserved one Hydra and always
Interesting.
did a bad play with the other Hydra. So then when he went into the open to deal with that Hydra, I had the one Hydra come back onto the field and shoot at the target.
Nice. I like that a lot. I've been a really big proponent of using like bait chimeras and toroxes, and I guess hydras are another thing that is really nice. And being OC3 lets you actually put them in places that maybe a chimera or torox couldn't. So that's super cool. Let's with that though, Lucas, let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the list. Do you have your list available?
Yes, I do.
All right, could you just take us
I have
through
it
it
right in
top to
front of me.
bottom?
Of course, a Cadian command squad. Of course, you need it with a Master Foxcaster. That's actually the main reason you'd run it with Lord Solar. Gaunt's Ghost, honestly, I don't take a list without Gaunt's Ghost. It is mandatory, I'd have to say.
Hmm.
Lord Solar, like I was saying, free CP, redeploy. You get to be a little aggressive with the Gaunt's Ghost, then you redeploy the Gaunt's Ghost after.
Hmm.
Rogadorn Tank Commander. I'm not a fan of the Tank Commander because of it's mandatory.
Fair.
Every list. Every list, you throw one in.
Yeah.
Cadian Shock Troopers for the Cadian Command Squad. Sit at home, stick you home, maneuver them so they can't get on your backfield. Two squads of Jungle Fighters.
Hmm.
The biggest thing about the Jungle Fighters, Scout 6, give them an order from the Master Foxcaster and move them, run them up the field, and okay, let you have some fun with them.
Yeah.
The three Hydras with three heavy bolters, hunter killers, phenomenal. Like I'd probably always add them to combined arms. I wouldn't put them in a other detachment.
Yeah. The lethal hits are that
Weirdly,
important, you think?
yeah,
Okay.
because as soon as you start shooting not things with lethal hits, you're hoping for the fly targets then.
That's fair. Yeah.
Kasrkin, love them. I actually use the Russian models back in the day, boss stores. I'll try to send you a
Yeah.
photo, and it is a phenomenal model, and I actually kit bash them into Kasrkin because
Nice.
of I like the look of them better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Two Lima Rust battle cannons.
Mm.
I would actually have to say these are staple pieces. Whenever I'm playing combined arms, Lima Rust battle cannons, free with the Overwatch,
They're
phenomenal.
so good. Yeah.
The Meltas, a lot of people like plasma or heavy bolters. I like the multi Meltas. So if you do tag my tank, you have four multi Meltas
Yeah. No, I
to deal
gotta
with.
say, don't worry. We have done our work on this channel to make sure that people understand that Meltas are the truth in this game. So don't worry about that one. We're already there. Yeah.
Yeah, Lima Rust Demolisher. It's a little swingy. I love the tank because I will actually, like I was telling you about the Hydras, how they are Carnifexes, send them up the field, hope for the best. Honestly, the Demolisher is even better for it because they are like, oh, hey, I have to deal with this thing else it's going to hurt me. So they start
Hmm.
rushing. Then you get better lines.
Fair. Yeah, that makes
That's it.
sense.
My favorite was like four of my games, it did Locust in their deployment zone.
Okay. In their deployment zone. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
okay. Fair
because
enough.
it's two up body. Okay, then you
Yeah.
tag it, and it shoots you in combat with no penalties.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So, the Scout Sentinel does scout things just, and it helps the Demolisher and the Rogador a little more.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing for me. Then I'd have to say the Quillins were a huge part of my gameplay because
Mm.
the Gaunt's Ghost would drop down, do an action, then the Quillins would drop it 6 inches away from them, so they can't charge my Gaunt's
Oh,
Ghost.
fair enough. So
So
so you use them
it's
to
a little bit of
protect
a
it.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the Demolisher, like I've done multiple times in the games.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting. So this is one of those lists where when I first look at it, it looks a lot like I said, it looks a lot like lists that we were taking around like October or September of last year. And I mean, anybody who's been playing guard for this long knows that we just have less stuff than we used to all that time ago. So I'm kind of curious what your experience was like with this because when I look at this kind of list, the first thing I normally look at is okay, I see the Kasrkin, where are the Toroxes?
So it was interesting. A lot of people asked me that. They're like, "Where's the Toroxes? Where was your transports to bring up your Chimeras?"
Hmm.
I just ran them up.
Yeah.
Turn one, scout forward, run them up the field, and people are like, "Oh, hey, this brick actually hurts." So they couldn't just put weak weapons into them. It's like against a Death Guard player, he actually had to put a Blight drone into them because he knew they were going to kill the Defilers on it.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, if you get some good like mines, like they rip apart vehicles. Makes sense.
Well, the Melt Mine then whip a grenade right after.
Yeah.
So it's perfect.
Yeah. The next thing I gotta ask about though is the Leontus Demolisher, because I'll be honest, I have been a certified Demolisher hater. I've played a couple of games with them recently. They're just a little bit differently. So where is the Leontus Demolisher normally being deployed for you?
Dead center, running up the
Dead
field.
center.
Great for the middle objective.
Are you put it like to the point where it's just in the open, or are you gonna put it like behind ruins initially?
So well, I use it as a bait piece because a lot of people are scared of the strength 14 AP3 damage,
Mm-hmm.
AP3 D6 damage. So I actually put it behind the walls and oh, if you move your one model, you can get line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see if you pull that because if they do that, you move your models in the way to shoot them.
Yeah. So you're
So I
okay with
use
people
it.
shooting at the Demolisher on turn one if it means that you're going to be shooting back.
Yep,
Okay.
I will use it as a sacrifice a lot of the time.
That's funny. I mean, I've seen a lot of people do similar things, but oftentimes it's been with like Hellhounds, which are like 70 points cheaper, 65 points cheaper. So I'm curious, what is it about the Demolisher? Is it really just the fact that it is so much of a threat with the Strength 14 gun?
Yeah, it is honestly this threat, and plus, I will rush people with it and tank shock
Hmm.
and leave it in combat with people.
Yeah,
It is just a big body. That's what it is.
fair enough. Cool. And then there was one other piece that I was a little bit curious about. Oh yeah, none of your infantry had war gear listed, Lucas.
Oh, I know. So what happened was I submitted my list the day of,
Oh,
and I
what?
turned around. Then I turned around and realized, hey, my jungle fighters didn't have any of the flavors.
Oh no, that's funny.
So I was like, the TO was like, "It's your call. I don't mind adjusting." I'm like, "Well, it's my fault. I'll play with it."
It's all right. It is what it is. The one other thing I kind of want to ask about though is the Lord Solar piece because I think a lot of people have generally decided that they prefer Ursula Creed in these similar lists because the +1 CP and the free strat are kind of identical. They both get you an opportunity to use a stratagem in order to try and get something off of a Voxcaster. What is it about the Lord Solar that you're liking instead of Ursula Creed?
So the biggest thing is actually the redeploy.
Okay.
Because if I see you deploy all your big models over here, I'll put my Demolisher over there, like I was telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So then they target the Demolisher. Then the other thing, I pick up the Gaunt's Ghost so I can be aggressive and just denying you your infiltrate to stop my scouting.
Yeah.
The other huge one is Lord Solar orders tanks really well. Where Ursa Creed, you have to spend the 2 CP, I believe it is, to order the same tanks. So you're pretty much wasting that CP that you gained.
Yeah. So you're saying that you'd rather spend the extra at the time it was like 85 points in order to get those squadron orders rather than the conditional orders last time. I think that makes sense with the list when I guess the part of the question then becomes how often are you ordering Hydras? Because I think if this was a Creed list, you just say, eh.
Yeah, 100. I'm almost ordering the 2 Lemurus battle cannons and the Demolisher immediately get an order.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Rogal Dorn orders 1 Hydra and itself
Yeah.
most of the time. So usually I have 2 models that won't get an order. If I
Gotcha.
need it, I will spend the CP that Lord Solar gives to give it an order.
Yeah. But most of the time, I imagine like Hydras don't tend to live past like turn three most of the time.
Actually, they actually survive most of the game.
Interesting. Are they like behind the Russes or what? How are you
Yeah,
moving them?
they actually hide behind the Russes because of the range.
Oh, interesting.
Because the Russes have to get within 18 to make them super powerful.
Yeah. So that's
So
really
you keep them
interesting.
farther back.
That's a really big departure from how we were seeing the Hydras used before. Because I know Hydras used to be like, just run them at people. It's 3OC, and I'm going to tie you on your objectives. So you're using them more as the fire base, and you're leaving Russes are the ones actually going forward.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. That is a very big departure from what I was expecting to see this list played. I'm glad I had an opportunity to talk to you after having played the list because I did that the other way around. Yeah.
Well, I watched the stream for a little bit. I was at work. And yeah, I saw like one of the Hydras died right away. I was like, wow, okay, I've never had a Hydra die turn 1 for me. It's usually my Demolisher.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting because I'm used to kind of like I said, instead of the Demolisher, I'll use a Hellhound, right? I'll usually put the Hellhound like dead center for similar reasons, right? I'm gonna go charge you with this. It doesn't do nearly as much damage as a Demolisher, but it is almost as durable. And it's like, okay, well now you had to devote like 1 or 2 anti-tank pieces. I'm going to kill those now, and then you can't kill my Lehman Russes afterwards. So it's interesting. It's a lot of parallels going through, but you're just using pieces in a different way than I was kind of expecting. That's really awesome. Um, Cool.
Yeah, because like, what's the how many wounds is the Hellhound?
It's 11 and it's T10 with a 2-up save.
So that's where I have like a hard justification because at T11, all those because I know there's strength 10 guns like the Leontus Battle Cannon and all that. So then that's where I found the T11 just a little safer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it depend. I'm sure it'll depend a lot on like your local meta. There are not a lot of. I only recently started playing in the Pacific Northwest. Down in Southern California, there are not a lot of Strength 10 guns that I really need to worry about. It's either Meltas or Laskin. It's not a whole lot in between. So
Oh,
at that point,
fair enough.
like the T11 versus T10 doesn't make a difference. So a little bit different.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Cool. So with that, then let's go ahead and talk a little bit about like your history as a guard player, and then we'll go ahead and talk about the actual games that you played. Because I know I've seen you playing for at least about a year. I've seen your name pop up a couple of times. You said you've had a couple of opportunities where you were at final tables, just not quite able to do it. How long have you been playing guard, and is guard your first army?
So I have a funny story. We were doing about I'd say 3, 4 years ago. We were
Hmm.
doing backyard tournaments in my backyard. We were playing
Hell
tournaments.
yeah.
I one of my friends playing painted armies only. I was like, okay, fine. I'll get my one painted army that's guard.
Yeah.
So I picked them up, and ever since I have not left them.
Nice. But sounds
So
like
I've
you
been
got a
playing
couple
guard
other
for.
armies that are just unpainted.
So I own I play orcs. That's my second army.
Nice.
In ninth edition, I was playing orc vehicles.
Ooh, okay.
So that's what made my vehicle love for tanks.
Nice.
Second army I play for fun lately is GSC,
Okay.
Gene Steelers, and they're interesting. I like a nice break from them once in a while.
Yeah.
And I'd have to say the other army I pick up once in a blue moon is Custodes.
Oh, that's very different than every guard army.
Yeah, just because my team always like, hey, I can't beat the certain army, so I pick them up. I'll play them for them so they can learn how to fight.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of learning how every army, and that's what's been helping me as a guard player because I know exactly what I need to put into next month
Yeah.
targets.
It also helps you understand is like, oh, if this army loses this piece, it's actually more devastating than you might have initially expected. But that's cool. So
Yeah.
you started playing guard as your painted army in this backyard tournament. Is that just kind of what launched you into like the competitive scene?
Yes. I've been so it was Niflheim Orc Vehicles, played a GT with mid tables
Mhm.
and loved it. That's what drew my love to competitive Warhammer. Then went I had a little bit of a break because finances, schooling, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I got back into competitive 40K start of 10th and I just picked up guard and stuck with it.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a
I've
lot of
been
sense.
I probably try to rep about 2 to 3 games a week
Mhm.
with guard, even sometimes four,
Nice.
just playing them, trying to get the familiarization of them. And like I said, just practice with practice, and you just learn like wardens. My worst nightmare. I learned 3 Hydras, a Leontus Battle Cannon, and a Rogadorn deals with 5 wardens.
Yeah. And then
so
sometimes
so
it
I
even
have
then sometimes it doesn't because the 4-ups
the
do funny things. But yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So now I know exactly what I need to do to kill each target.
Yeah.
So a lot of practice. I had to appreciate all the players at first because it's a lot of useful knowledge.
Yeah. Now, I know you also were mentioning that you are now looking to do organizing, you do some teams events, you're wearing the VoidFire shirt. Tell us a little bit about the VoidFire.
So VoidFire, it actually we started as just a group of friends from high school. We used to play Magic and all that, and then we all got into 40K and we started a team. We actually used to be called Deadlifters, but then people would confuse us with weightlifting and all that. So that's what actually changed us to VoidFire. Then we actually stream our own games and started organizing our own tournaments. Like we have a local game store that actually sponsors us, helps us out lots. And yeah, he's the one that actually pushed us, hey, start hosting your own guys' tournaments.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
so like we are hosting a tournament in Silverdale, Mission, June 28th, 29th. We're looking for 2 more teams.
Oh, awesome. Is it 5-man
So
teams or 8-man teams?
5 man. We're actually looking at 8 mans. If the 5 mans go off enough, we'll get it into 8.
That's super cool. I know Teams has become like way more popular across like all of the Americas. I feel like I only really started hearing about them at about halfway through Leviathan is when they really felt like people were paying more attention to them. But I have to ask, Lucas, you said you were originally deadlifters and it had nothing to do with weights. What did that mean to you?
So what it was there was a podcast, the Deadlift the Dark Gods,
Okay.
and our close friend bought us muscle shirts of the Dead of the Death the Dark Gods, and that's what started that journey.
Nice, nice, nice. So it was kind of originally weightlifting. You guys just didn't happen to be weightlifters. You just like
Yeah,
That's really funny. Well, I'm glad you found something that's a little bit more your own. I love the VoidFire logo, and hopefully, if you want, send me a link, and I'll go ahead and throw links to your stuff down in the description as well. Cool. Lucas, let's go ahead and actually talk about the games that you played at this event because we've got a little bit of a better idea of how your list actually plays now, and you obviously won. So your first game you ended up having up against it was World Leaders and Berserker Warband, and this one did not look particularly close.
no. So it was against Ramsey World Eaters. Good guy. Like I said, I knew he had two Forge friends. So as soon as I dealt with Forge friends, it was like, okay, I can step off the back burner a bit. So I actually sent in the Demolisher, like I was telling you,
Hmm.
popping smoke, making you hit on fives, wounding on fives.
Yeah.
Then as soon as I picked up those, he was already struggling trying to keep up with everything because I kept my distance. I played very cagey. Okay, you move, then I'll kill you.
Yeah.
So it was a really hard match for him. I really felt bad for him because it was. I think he said it was his second time playing World Beaters.
Oh, I mean, hey, if you take an army that you're not used to a GT and you get walloped, I feel like that's on you at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that I did honestly feel bad about that match. It was fun, but I did feel bad
Yeah.
because it was an ideal for him.
Fair. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people overestimate the damage that Forge Fiends do to Lehman Russes because, like you said, like you're already winning on fives to start, and then smoke just makes it so you're hitting on fives, and even if you're re-rolling, it's like you're just not doing that much damage to them. So, was there any other threats that you really had to deal with after the Forge Fiends were gone?
Uh, honest, honestly, was it like the list was just like Karn Betrayer, Demon Prince, Slaughterbound, Horn Berserkers, two squads of an eight bound,
Mm-hmm.
three, sorry, then one Exalted. So the Exalted was the only other threat, but he had it in Deep Strike. So the way I
Oh,
play, I can be really aggressive and screen out. So he had a hard time actually deep striking them. The only way he deep strike them was back in his own deployment zone.
that's a pretty common thing when playing up against guard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then so I was like, okay. I had a feeling exactly. I knew my game plan, and it went perfectly. I'd have to
nice,
say.
nice.
Oh
Well, I mean, so you got your first win. Your next one also looks like it was not close. This one was up against Imperial Knights, and I have to ask, did Canis Rex just like forget to play the game, or like what happened here?
so Samantha, she's actually one of my teammates.
Okay.
So me and her have repped this game, I'd say 20, 30 times. Exact same matches, trying to get her used to her list.
Mm-hmm.
And I got lines of Sean and Canis Rex and picked up two Armigers turn one and dropped
Ooh.
Canis Rex down to one health.
On turn on turn one, I feel like that has to be
One.
a misdeploy coming up for Samantha, or was she just creating a like just trying to go because this matchup is generally bad for Imperial Knights?
Yes. So on Mission K, right, she knew I was going to start burning the center objective because she's seen me do this every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'm going for the center. She knows exactly what I'm going to do. So she was trying to set up Canis Rex. She's like, okay, the worst that he's going to do is get one Demolisher in.
Mm-hmm.
I can bank off that.
Yeah.
Then the Demolisher just spiked all its damage on her.
You know, that might be a reason to put a demolisher in. Like I said, I don't like it because a lot of the time it does nothing. But there are those games where it's just like, sorry, have you considered just being dead? That if you can do that much damage on turn one, I can understand how this game does not have a lot of play left in it. Was there any tries that Samantha went that actually like had you worried ever?
Uh when she only ran Canis Rex and all War Dogs, that's when it was a
Mm,
struggle
mm-hmm.
because I didn't have enough bullets.
Yeah.
But she wanted to try to get used to the Aaron and dealing with the Aaron. I would actually have to say I got really lucky
Yeah.
against the Aaron
Which one is the
because
errant?
that's the thermal and fist, the
Okay,
thermal
okay.
cannon.
Yeah.
So the Aaron actually went through the wall and battle shocked itself.
Oh no.
So then she went to then Canis Rex battle shocked himself as well. So both big knights are shooketh. And she went to shoot my one Rogadorn tank commander.
hmm
And it was really interesting. It was really funny. Went to roll for shots, got 2 shots. Okay, went to roll to wound to hit, only got one of them. Went to roll the wound, got it through. She's like, it's just a 5-up. Like, the chance of that happening, roll the 6-up. She's like, okay, sure. The game's the game.
Yeah. Oh man. Sometimes it doesn't matter how good you are. Sometimes the luck is just there. Like you got to feel bad for some this kind of game because
I did.
I showed end score of 100 to 21. That means they held their home like for 2 turns, and maybe is it a raise banners point is the last one? Like,
Score. It was scorched earth.
yeah. So
What she got a couple small points,
mhm.
and that was it. I took her home on turn 2.
That's rude, Lucas. We got to be a little bit nicer to our opponents, but fair enough. You have one more game here, Lucas, on day one. Who's going up against Custodes, Lions of the Emperor. This one looked at
Emperor.
least closer.
Yeah. So this was Brent Johnson. Uh, Me and him have had a couple games against each other, so it was interesting to see the improvement against each other's. The biggest thing is like I knew he didn't realize. I don't know if he didn't realize or something, but he didn't realize with the wardens that you have to call it in the start of the shoot phase. So he thought he could after I selected it. So he was like, oh. Then he realized what he did, and then he realized, oh, I have lines on everything. He had to call both of them.
Yeah,
Then next turn, I still had another round of shooting on him.
that can be one of the big issues with playing Wardens. Wow, that sounds like a brutal game, but I mean, it still looked like it was fairly close. So, what did Brent do that actually brought this one a little bit closer?
So he actually went after my infantry.
Yeah,
He ignored my tanks as much as he could and killed my infantry, so I couldn't score.
that makes a lot of sense, actually. I've lost a lot of games because my opponents just killed all my scoring ability, and it's like, well, I really don't want to be establishing a locus with this Leman Russ, but I guess I'm going to. So,
Yeah, so it was interesting, but it was after he killed all my infantry, I was on the back foot trying to score a point, so I had to waste all the big tanks that I need the big tanks shooting wardens
mhm.
to score points for me.
Yeah. Wow.
So
I mean, that just sounds like a lot. And then I'm kind of curious then, because I've seen a lot of different versions of lines of the Emperor. You generally see like 2 Warden bricks, but then after that, it's kind of up in the air. Was this like bringing the bikes, or was it the Calades Grav tanks? Like, what else was in this list?
okay, so his list was 2 blade champions,
hmm
shield captain, Terminator armor, 2 of them,
hmm
5 custodian guardsmen, then a 4-man,
Okay.
uh, 1 3-man Terminator brick, then 2 2-mans.
hmm
Then the weird part was seeing the 2 5-man wardens. I've never seen 2 5-mans before, so that was interesting to see.
hmm
Then 2 5-man bolt sisters.
Oh, okay. So there's no bikes, no Caladius at all. It's just
No
guys. Okay.
bodies.
Interesting. Did he have
And
Kyrie Adraxis?
no, that's why I was confused with the custodian
Interesting.
guardians.
Yeah. I
Because
feel like
like
if you
whenever I play Custodes, you need him.
Yeah, if you're going to be taking the guard, the point is to generally take the Draxus as well. I've seen those like that Draxus and Lions just like pick up Lehman Russes. You just shoot twice, +1 to hit, +1 to wound, and just like something just disappears when you wouldn't expect it to. So, very interesting list. But I'm glad you're able to come out on this one. I imagine you end up going home, having dinner, getting ready. What kind of prep do you do at the end of the first day to get ready for the second day?
So I have a So I told my girlfriend there, hey, I'm going to go to the bar with the guys. Go get some food, then I'll come home.
Yeah.
I think we waited an hour and a half, and I was like, I'm going home. Like food's not in here. I'm going home. I have to sleep
Yeah. You're on
because
track to
like
win
I'm
this
sitting
thing. You
there,
can't stick around.
yeah. So I was like sitting there like studying all the lists. So okay, this next person I need to verse. So what's their strat? What's their enhancements? Okay, what's the next couple guys? And just reading with everyone just sitting at the bar and just like talking to all the players. Hey, what's going on? What's this? Hey, we had the entire team there, so I was able to talk to my whole team. Like,
Yeah.
hey, what are we thinking about this?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And you end up looking like Aeldari Ghost of the Webway. Is Ghost of the Webway, that's the Harlequins detachment, isn't it?
that is correct.
Interesting. Okay, I
That
haven't
is
actually. The only person I've seen play this is Liam VSL, and there's luckily for the rest of us, there's only one Liam VSL in the world. This one didn't look close. Tell us about it.
so the fun part is he's actually one of my coaches, JT McDowell,
Oh,
from
nice.
Play On.
Yeah.
So it was I always have a great game with him. I always have it was interesting because I was like, okay, before this tournament even started, I got him to run me down all of Eldar, explain Eldar to me.
Yeah.
I haven't had to verse Eldar, explain Eldar.
Yeah.
So before the even then he saw that me and him were paired up, all I get is his text, yay.
Yay.
I was like, okay, cool. So I already had an idea what Eldar did
Mhm.
before their big nerf that just recently happened to them. But the 4-up invuln on them is so annoying to deal with. Like you underestimate the 4-up invuln with 10-man bricks. Then you can't just, oh, here's a line of infantry to block them off because they just charge right through them.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to type your tank now.
Yeah.
Then here's a bunch of devastating wounds.
Yeah. Well,
So
luckily I know he can only
I
bring 3 of those units at the very least.
no, because he's playing the Harley Quinn, so he can actually bring 6.
Oh, interesting. I thought it was still only 3, but fair enough.
They become battle line.
Yeah. But you still, I mean, this game wasn't closed, so how did you pull it off?
So honestly, he had a 7-inch charge he had to make. I was joking with him. I looked at him, hey, double ones, right? And
Yeah.
there it was, double ones. And he went CP reroll it and went for 2s because he was about to kill Lord Solaron.
Oh.
Catch up was kill Lord Solar.
Yeah.
Because if he got rid of my orders, then I was struggling. But
Yeah.
didn't work in his favor.
Fair. I
I'll
mean,
have to give him credit there.
if you just strand a unit out in the open and suddenly like our las guns matter because it's still only toughness 3, like that can be a very bad time for elves very quickly. So I mean, if you just go for these long, I feel like seven re-rolling is a pretty good odds, but sometimes the God Emperor's looking out for you. So then Lucas, you have one more game. So how often have you made the final table before, where it's like both of you are 4-0 and it's time for you to actually just whoever wins this is going to win the event?
So this is my first time getting top 3, top 5 spot.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I'll usually like a lot of my games. If you look at my past, I lost to Garcia. He played Custodes,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why when I first Custodes this time, I knew what I was up to.
Yeah. Fair. But this time, I mean, you were playing up against Death Guard, which is very different.
Yes, so
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to say, and it was a struggle just to make sure everything went perfectly.
Yeah.
And so those blight drones just hurt,
Especially
right?
with the full rerolls to hit, if the guy's like pointing at the thing, it's just like they rip. It is a lot.
Yeah. So the biggest thing I would have to say, like he reserved his Predator destroyer on me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, that's not too bad. Then as well as that, he had his 2 squads of Terminators in reserve, so I had to keep up a 6-inch screen instead of my 9-inch.
Yeah.
So it actually slowed me down a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
not too much. But the biggest thing is, I actually turn 1, I ran all my infantry up, so you had to deal with my infantry, or else I scored 15 for primary.
Mm-hmm.
And I already scored 11 points for secondaries that turn. So it's like, okay, I'm already on back foot already this game.
Yeah.
So it's like, so you had to come up, deal with the infantry. Then he realized what he did is, oh, hey, now I'm in the open.
That'll do that. If you can kill all the scoring, but if it happens too early and you just die, it doesn't matter. I will do actions with Lehman Russes if there's nothing for it to shoot at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's pretty much what I end up doing. And he brought all his infantry, all his drones up. I got a really good card on turn two, flip it, bring it down. And it just the sigh in his face.
Yeah.
I killed four of the blight drones that turn.
Mm-hmm.
Both defilers down to 3 health.
Oh boy. Yeah.
And the one defiler down to the other last blight drone was down to 5 health.
So he just doesn't have vehicles left. He's got like the one predator in reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And even
yeah.
then, I screened it out pretty much the entire game.
Yeah. I mean, that'll do it. One of the other things I heard from the other interview you did with the mid-table guys was that Overwatch was a really big deal for you this game.
Yes, anytime he moved to drone, Overwatch.
Yeah.
Anytime he moved to defiler, Overwatch.
Yeah. How much
So,
damage do you
hey,
think
he
you did
moves.
over the course of the game?
So at the, I would have to say, I picked up the Demon Prince in Overwatch.
Okay.
I finished the Defiler in Overwatch,
Nice. Okay.
and it was only the heavy stubbers that killed it. So I didn't get to shoot my big battle cannon or the Meltus.
That's just disrespectful, Lucas.
Yes, so I always start with the stubbers. It's
Yeah.
funnier. Then, as well as that, anytime his Terminators, Poxwalkers moved, I was shooting Overwatch just to start picking up infantry because I already picked up all the big tanks I was worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the Terminators, he moved, I Overwatch, trying just plucking damage the entire game.
Yeah.
I would actually have to say he probably took 2 whole Lever Ross battle cannons, full shooting. No problem for damage wise.
That's pretty good. I mean, over the course of a game, I mean, just for CP, I mean, one of the other big Canadian Guard players that I know, Nick Jagiello, often says is like, look, if you just Overwatch every turn, if we consider a grenade a good strat for 3 wounds, our Overwatch consistently does more than that. So just go for the Overwatches, and you will do a lot of damage. So I mean, it sounds like.
So
Go ahead.
so my best Overwatch is actually from a Lever Ross battle cannon on Silent King, killing him from full.
What the?
Yeah.
Well, you just roll better than I do, Lucas.
So what it is I actually really pick out how I'm doing my shooting. I start with the battle cannon. Okay, there goes your monoliths. Or if there were one or two are with 2 health, okay, now I'll shoot my hunter. I'll shoot my las.
Yeah.
Try to pick that last bit of wounds up. Then I'll shoot my Meltas.
Yeah, at the very end. I mean, it also helps too
Yeah.
because sometimes you're like, okay, well now maybe I'll spend a second CP in order to get that little bit of damage over the hump. So I mean, it just works out. But overall, Lucas, like these games were generally not very close. You said the hardest one was the Custodes one. I mean, you can't win any event without a little bit of luck, but it feels like you had like a perfect run through this tournament. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, so I've been practicing for teams.
Mm-hmm.
My team, they rely on me to be the high point scorer.
Yeah.
They're hoping for me to get 20-0 games
Yeah.
every game. So I'm like, okay, so that's what I've been training for. So if I don't like a secondary, I'm only scoring 3 points for a secondary. I've been training, hey, let's burn it. Let's get a higher point secondary.
Yeah.
So it was, hey, let's see what I can pull off.
Yeah, interesting.
The
So,
entire
so
game.
that just tries to, you try and get consistently in like the high 90s for your score then,
Yeah.
and then it kind of doesn't matter what they score because it's probably going to be not high 90s. Is that the idea?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get them at like 60, 70,
Yeah.
where I'm at high 90s.
Now, I got to ask then because I know a lot of areas do their team events terrain differently. And from what I
Yes.
saw, this event was played on Pariah Nexus terrain. What about your team's events? Are you also running them on Pariah Nexus terrain, or are they going to be in like WTC?
I really wanted to do WTC, but
Mhm.
finances. So we're going to be doing GW terrain with, we're hoping our Snot Goblin comes in. If
Mhm.
not, we actually really close guys with mid table, so we're going to borrow their terrain. So
Fair.
it works out perfect.
Yeah.
So we'll be using GW terrain.
Cool, interesting. So you oftentimes just use this as like training for the team's events and in another environment. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this Teams event that you got coming up, or Teams events that you've been playing, because like we said, we know Teams is becoming a lot more popular around the world. In the Americas, it's really grown over the past about 2 years. What was your experience like with your first couple of Teams events?
So my very first team event was down in Kelowna. Me and my team are like, hey, this actually sounds cool. Let's try it out.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to verse. Drove out there, and I don't even know how to say it broke the energy. The energy in our team when we were guys, just 2 more points. That's all we need. 2 more points, and hey, we tied it. Or hey, we need 1 more point. Hey, buddy, I need you to score just that one last point.
Yeah.
Hey, we won it. Awesome,
Nice.
right? So it's just, and the nice thing is, like, we all have been rolled bad dice before in our lives.
Yeah.
At least in teams, you can be like, dice are dice. Then that captain runs and tells everyone else, hey, buddy just had bad dice rolling. I need you guys to pick up the pace.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
mean,
it's
that's a
nice.
lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't say how much I love teams. It's so much more fun than singles.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious then because I know there's a lot of different schools of thought on how guard is used in teams. Do you have, if you're willing to share, what is the plan that you have when your team asks you to play guard?
So I asked my team, I have 3 roles.
Mm-hmm.
I play defensive,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll actually see me bring a Doom Hammer with Mechanized Guard
Okay.
because it gives us such a defensive role. It's like, oh, hey, he's getting +1 to wound, and we have to deal with that Doom Hammer.
Yeah.
How do we deal with that? So
Yeah.
it's T13, 4-up info.
Yeah.
So it's a little tricky to shift off the table, so you're doing a little bit of preventing. The second role is being aggro, where I kind of follow John Winters. Hey, let's run some horses. Let's rush up the field as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And let's just gum up the field, shoot artillery, and let's try to pull a 10-10 out of the games.
Yeah.
Nice tie. Then there's the high scoring version. The way I've been playing is how can I get maximized points?
Mm-hmm.
How can I remove you from the field as fast as possible and max out my points?
Yeah. So you're willing to take on any of the roles, whatever the team
Yes.
asks. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm the captain of my team, so it's like, okay, perfect. I used to, okay, hey, I'm really low on this one section, time to grab it.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. That's a good role of a captain. Now, Lucas, let's go ahead and talk. Let's look towards the future a little bit because we did just get a data slate, and your list is one of the few lists I've seen that the points basically didn't change. You were at 1995 before. This list is now at 2005. You're going to have to change something in the list. Let's go ahead and talk about that first. In order to bring this list down to 2,000 points, what would you do to change it?
So I have 2 changes in my head right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at cutting the Demolisher actually,
Mm-hmm.
sadly for a
Oh no.
Hellhound
Okay.
and for Rattlings.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Or the second one is actually cut the Scout Sentinel,
Mm-hmm.
add the 25 point little drone.
Yeah, the
I
little
don't know at the top
Cyclops.
of my
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
Yeah, and the Cyclops drone and add enhancement.
Fair. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, my first thought when I was looking at this list is, what if this Demolisher was just another battle cannon?
I was I was actually looking at making it the plasma, the Eradicator.
The execution. I mean, the plasma one. Yeah, the execution. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Executioner.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is close enough to the same points,
Mm-hmm.
and it does still give out a really good punch pack.
Yeah, absolutely.
AP3, flat 3, can't complain too much.
Would you consider an
Or
exterminator in order to make all those autocannons have AP2?
that was my other suggestion I was thinking of doing, is actually switching to that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very rapidly approaching what I've been calling kind of the standard tank package. You have the Rogal Commander, 2 battle tanks, and Exterminator, which we've been seeing have a lot of success across a variety of different terrain formats as well. But I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like this list is working. You just need to shave those 5 points somewhere. Overall, let's talk about like the guard more in general. What has been your feeling on this most recent data slate?
Honestly, I love that Lord Solar could order Titanics again.
Yeah,
Now I'm actually trying to find a way to add them to my mechanized guard list now,
yeah.
so I can order my Doom Hammer.
Nice. I know Robert Moreland in particular. He was running a Storm Sword for most of Leviathan, and he was actually kind of my inspiration to also be running a Storm Sword for a lot of it. He's been very excited about the Storm Lord, like the Gatling Cannon one that you just pick guys back up. He's been playing that in Mechanized as well. Have you thought about that one at all, or are you still focused on the Doomhammer?
I like the Doomhammer because of it's still packed with brutal punch.
Fair.
You can still carry 22 models in it, so
Yeah.
it's up and down. What do you take?
Yeah.
So that's why I've ended up going with the Doomhammer, just so I have a good pack of punch still.
Yeah. Makes sense. Uh, the other thing though is Guard is obviously not the only army that gets changes. Do you feel like this list that you were playing beforehand, do you feel like it's well positioned for the upcoming meta?
Honestly, I don't know. Definitely that I was actually expecting Ultramarines to be hit a little harder.
They lost like 10 CP.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they still pack as much of a punch as they used to,
true. They also get a
right?
little extra points of something somewhere.
Yeah, because like my one friend runs two Vindicators in it and the Repulsor Executioner,
Hmm.
and that is a real nuisance for me to deal with.
Yeah. So do you feel
So
like
it's
you
like,
need to
oh, okay.
change your list in order to deal with that, or do you feel like the fact that it has got a better matchup into the all the drones and Death Guard is enough to continue playing it this way?
Um, I might be cutting the Hydra. It all depends on how Teeth Suns are. That's the other army I'm kind of waiting to see mellow out because
They're
there's
nuts.
a lot on Teeth Suns.
Yeah, they're
So
very
I'm
powerful.
excited to verse Teeth Suns so I can actually learn them.
Fair. Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's going to be interesting. I having played the game yesterday using this list, playing up against Death Guard, I was more impressed with the Hydras than I was expecting to be. They were shooting at like their ideal targets, right? 3-up save vehicles with fly. So I'm kind of curious to see where it goes from there. But I actually feel like this is reasonably well positioned for the upcoming meta, where people are looking at Death Guard, Blood Angels, maybe Dark Angels, and Thousand Suns is kind of like the big bogeys. All of those have like a decent part of the army that flies.
Yep. Then as well as that, all your guns are damage three.
Yeah. So
A
you
lot
punch
of
the drone
people do
hitters.
not like hearing that number.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, Lucas, we're pulling up on the hour that I normally try and keep these to. So one of the things I always like to do is getting some hot takes from people. So the first thing that I'm curious about is I want you to give me one data sheet in the Guard Codex that you think is overrated. Other people think it's really good. You're not so hot on it.
It's actually I would have to say the Lemurus battle cannon or the Hydras.
You think they're overrated,
I yes.
but you just ran 5 of them.
So, yeah. Because of a lot of people go, oh hey, the battle cannon's amazing.
Mhm.
The only reason it's good is because of combined arms.
Yeah,
If you put it in any other detachment, you're struggling.
that's fair. Yeah, but it's so good in combined arms.
That's why I think it's a little overrated, is because
Okay,
it's only good in that one detachment.
fair.
If let's say they go back to their old ways and hey, you only get lethal hits if you.
Yeah, totally fair.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Now let's get the reverse of that. I'm looking for 2 units that you think people are not looking at that they really should be.
Aquilons, they're
Okay,
still good.
they're still good. Yeah.
They're still good. They're still a lot of points for you. And the other ones that I've been actually kind of humming at, I'd actually, if you don't mind, two of them, Ratlings and the Ripper Ogrets.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Yeah, so I'm
Those two
curious
are
then.
really good.
Let's talk about the Aquilons just a little bit because this is a unit that we've seen like some sporadic play at the competitive level. Do you think they're still a one of, or do you think you go 2 of them, or is there something that you can build around where they're even more powerful than that?
I like to always just one of them because for 100 points, as long as a couple survive, you can do another secondary with them. Being
Yeah.
able to drop down, use your flamethrower, then do a couple shots or do an action with them,
Mm-hmm.
even though they use a flamethrower, you're happy.
Fair.
As
So
long as they score you at least 9 points, I can never complain.
fair enough. Now let's talk about the other ones, the Rattlings and the Ogryn. The Rattlings, I think, are an interesting one because I think a lot of people look at you already have Gaunt's Ghost in the list. Do you feel like you also want to include Rattlings as even more?
So Rattlings, I would have loved against the World Eaters
Hmm.
because then it would have confirmed, hey, you're not charging.
Yeah,
I would have let them die. They die type of
absolutely.
situation. And for 60 points, you can't really complain with that. The other reason why I like them is you can, hey, I'm going to move out, shoot you, then hide behind a wall again.
Hmm.
Just kind of bounce between that. And they have to infiltrate. Free couple points sometimes.
Yeah, cool. And talking to me about the Ogryns, this is a unit that I think people are generally reasonably high on them, but they feel like they've been kind of outcompeted by other things like Kasrkin or Catachan. What about Ogryn really speaks to you?
So Mechanized Guard is one of them.
Hmm.
They used to be good in combined arms when they could actually get orders.
Yeah,
But what I like to do is grab a Torox, regular Torox, not Prime, or fly them up the field, advance it, and then give it move, move, move.
yeah,
So they're flying up the field, jump out, do some shooting, or doing action because they can't just put weak guns into them. They actually had to put little heavier than minor guns into them.
yeah.
Then if you give them full rerolls to hit and wound from the mechanized guard, it's actually pretty funny.
It is. Yeah, I've seen those. I remember I just had one. My opponent just had a unit of three hop out of a, I think it was a Chimera, but it doesn't really matter. It gets a +1 to wound. It points at one of my Toraxes, and the Torax just dies without the plus or without the re-rolling hits and wounds. And I was like, huh. Was not expecting that much damage to come out. I think you take a lot of people off guard, especially with the +1 to wound and the AP2 that comes out of those guns when you're shooting at the closest target. So it makes a lot of sense. Lucas, though, we're running up on this hour here. Are there any final thoughts that you have? Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
Honestly, if you guys can hit the mid-table tournaments, please do. They're phenomenal.
Hmm.
They're really good, and it's a great experience.
Very cool. Any Void Fire shout outs that you want to give out as well? Tell us about the new.
Uh,
You have one event. Do you have any others coming up as well to shout out?
uh, Honestly, if you join my Discord, I post in there. I'll let you guys know as soon as I know. We actually had to do a slight rule change in my player data sheet because of all these rules. So we're getting GW a little time for FAQs this time.
Fair, fair. Oh,
But
I mean, okay. I'm curious. Are you going to be allowing the subterranean and all the new detachments before they get FAQ'd? Because we saw what happened
yeah,
with Mordaka.
yeah, I will allow it as long as they don't get FAQ'd before the 20th. My cutoff is the 21st.
Ah, fair enough.
No Chaos Knight Codex.
Fair,
Sorry.
fair. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for coming out, Lucas. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and congratulations on your recent win. Hopefully, you get a lot more of them in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you.
For
Have a
now, though,
wonderful time, buddy.
this has been Tactical Debrief. We'll see you guys all next time. Bye bye.